This edition of Caring for KC rolls on. I'm Ray Reed. We're now joined by Mark Mosier, and Mark is going to talk a little bit more about Alex's Lemonade Stand, the foundation, and the event coming up June 5th and 6th. You'll see plenty of area volunteers outside your local Hy-Vee store. And Mark, tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the group.
Well, my son, who's now 12 years old, was diagnosed with cancer when he was just a toddler, 16 months old. And the cancer he had is neuroblastoma, which is a pretty lethal form of cancer. And throughout the process of his treatment and everything, we got hooked up with Alex's parents because we were on a listserv for neuroblastoma. And when Alex, in 2004, when she put out the call to make her stands nationwide, we kind of heeded that call and decided to do it. So we set up a stand at our Hy-Vee here in Blue Springs, which is where we live, and raised about $5,000 that year. And after that, with the help of Hy-Vee, we decided to spread it kind of citywide, and that's kind of grown to what we're doing now. This is the 6th year of having these big lemonade stands in the Kansas City area.
And we understand Kansas City now the second largest effort in the nation, and it all started with that Blue Springs event.
That's exactly right. Second only to Alex's original stand, which is in Philadelphia, where the foundation was based.
Now, in addition to being a parent, I understand you're also a pediatrician.
That's correct.
So you see firsthand and really from an inside perspective about how this disease really affects families.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, you see that with all different kinds of diseases, but cancer especially. And I've also done some advocacy work with another organization that does lobbying in Washington, and so I've gotten me lots of families of kids with cancer, and it's devastating to any family, whether the child survives or not. And obviously it's better if the child survives, but it just totally disrupts the family when the child undergoes treatment. And it's one thing to have lived your entire life and be diagnosed with cancer towards the end of your life. It's another thing to be a baby or a toddler or even a teenager for that matter and have your whole life in front of you and then be told that hey, you've got cancer and you may not survive this, and that really affects you and the entire family.
And I'm sure even as a physician, when you heard that diagnosis for your child the first time, it was devastating as well.
Oh, definitely. I remember that day. It was 11 years ago, and I remember like it happened yesterday.
Now, Alex's Lemonade Stand has a goal of raising $95,000 in the metro here this year. What are those proceeds then used for?
Well, that money goes directly towards pediatric cancer research. If you go onto the foundation website, which is alexslemonade.org, and you look at the grants, you'll see that they've given grants, over $25 million worth of grants to research institutions throughout the entire country. Pediatric cancer research is kind of a collaborative group, which means research that's done in one institution is shared with everybody else throughout the country, and therefore all kids with cancer kind of benefit from that. And the foundation especially is focused on new, innovative type research, things like that. This last year, there were actually 2 grants that were given to researchers here in the Kansas City area. One in or a nurse researcher from KU, who's doing a grant associated with Children's Mercy as well as National Children's Hospital in Washington. And then there's also a researcher who just recently got a grant from Children's Mercy for that. So the money goes, bottom line is the money goes directly towards research, which is, the researchers feel like there is a cure for cancer within our lifetime, but it obviously takes money to fund that research to do it. And so that's where this foundation is putting their money.
And even just this past week now, we're seeing the American Cancer Society saying that the overall cancer death rate declined for a 15th consecutive year. So progress is being made.
Oh, it is being made. In fact, pediatric cancer research has kind of led the field on that. Pediatric cancer researchers were the first ones to use combination chemotherapy treatments, and cancer was pretty much a death sentence for kids back in the 50s and 60s, and they've come a long ways to the survival rates that they have now. But Unfortunately, it's still the number one cause of death by disease in kids, and I don't think anybody's going to stop until all these kids are cured from it.
We're talking with Mark Mosier this morning a bit about Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. They have their Lemonade Stand fundraisers coming up June 5th and 6th at area Hy-Vee stores across the metro and throughout the region. And Mark, in this economy, a lot of different nonprofit groups are competing for those dollars. What do you say to somebody to say, why this cause?
Well, I think all these foundations that raise money, everything is kind of worthwhile. I guess the reason with this cause is, the statistic that I said before, that kids are dying from cancer. In fact, this is the main cause of death in kids. All other diseases combined, not as many kids die from as they do from cancer. And for any of you listeners out there, if you have, a little child, look at your child, look at your toddler or your baby, and imagine having to put them through the treatments that kids with cancer have to go through. And as an example, my child, he had 7 rounds of chemotherapy, he had a bone marrow transplant, he had radiation therapy, multiple surgeries, experimental treatment that we had to go to New York for. It's devastating. And when it comes to kids, like I said before, it's not only devastating to the child, it disrupts the entire family. The divorce rate is much higher in families whose kids have cancer just because of the stress related to it. And to me, obviously I have a special interest in it, but to me, it's a cause that anything we can do to help our kids lead the life that they're meant to live is important, and that's why. I think Alex has a good idea with that. That's why she started this foundation, and I think the money that we've raised over the last few years shows that people in the Kansas City area also are appreciative of that. And I know the economy is rough, but most of the money we raise is $1 here and $1 there, and it adds up if everybody slips in and gives us those couple dollars for things.
So the stands are coming up June 5th and 6th, and folks can join you at Hy-Vee, or how else can they get involved?
Well, they can go online, and if they want to donate specifically to the Kansas City effort, they can go to www.alexslemonade.org/KC Lemonade, and there's a direct donation with that. They can also, let all their friends and relatives and everybody else know to kind of do that too, or at least just come out to the stands and volunteer. If you can't donate, if you can donate your time, that's always helpful too.
Mark Mosier is active with Alex's Lemonade Stand across the area, and we thank you for joining us on this edition of Caring for KC.